The applause wasn't meant for him. It never was. As the cameras swung toward the stage, a white billionaire froze, his hand tightening around a crystal glass, while the woman he'd paraded beside him realized she was standing in the wrong spotlight. Because the name echoing through the grand hall was the name he never wanted the world to hear. And in that moment, everything he built on image began to crack. Welcome to Melanin Chronicles, where hidden power never stays hidden forever. The Sterling Crest Gala, Manhattan, New York City, an invitation-only charity event where money doesn't just speak. It whispers, signals, and decides futures. Crystal chandeliers, black tie elites, politicians, media moguls, billionaires pretending not to count each other's net worth. At the center of it all stood Julian Whitmore, a white tech billionaire worth over $60 billion. A man who believed legacy could be engineered the same way software could, clean, controlled, curated. At his side walked Evelyn Cross, his executive assistant. Polished, blonde, perfectly placed. And somewhere in that same room, unannounced, unacknowledged, sat Naomi Whitmore, his wife, a black African-American woman. Julian had spent years editing out of his public story. Julian Whitmore loved nights like this. The soft echo of polished shoes on marble floors, the familiar weight of tailored fabric across his shoulders, the way people leaned in when he spoke, as if proximity itself could elevate them. Tonight was supposed to affirm what he already believed, that he belonged at the top. He arrived precisely at 8. Timing mattered. Optics mattered. Everything mattered. Evelyn walked half a step behind him, never beside, never ahead. She knew the rules. Julian liked people who knew their place. Cameras flashed. Julian, over here. Just one comment. He smiled easily. He had practiced this smile for decades. Inside his mind, a quiet calculation ran constantly. Who mattered? Who watched? Who could be useful later? And who did not? No one asked about his wife. Julian noticed and approved, because Naomi Whitmore complicated the narrative. Naomi entered through a side entrance. No cameras, no announcement, no escort. She didn't need one. Her emerald gown didn't shout. It didn't beg. It didn't sparkle for attention. It waited. Her natural hair framed her face with quiet confidence. Her posture was calm, grounded, and unmovable. Naomi had spent years mastering this stillness, because stillness unsettles people who rely on noise. As she took her seat near the front, a ripple moved through the old money section. She's here. I thought he stopped bringing her. Why now? Naomi ignored the murmurs. Tonight wasn't about him. It was about timing. Years ago, Naomi had loved Julian's ambition. Back when it still had direction. Back when it still made room for her. She remembered late night sketching ideas at the kitchen table. Early investments she spotted before anyone else believed. Board strategies whispered into the dark while Julian slept. But as his empire grew, something shrank. Not his wealth, his courage. He began editing her out slowly. First from interviews, then from galas, then from the future he described to the world. Naomi noticed everything. She just stopped protesting. Because power didn't argue. It prepared. Back on the main floor, Julian basked in approval. He spoke about philanthropy, carefully vague. He nodded at praise, carefully accepting. He dropped his name into conversations like a reminder. Evelyn leaned in. They're starting the honors soon. Julian smiled. Good. This part of the night always reaffirmed his place. But something felt off. A donor he expected to greet him passed by without stopping. A journalist glanced past him, distracted. A trustee whispered to someone else, eyes darting toward the front row. Julian followed their gaze, and that's when he saw her. Naomi, sitting calmly, watching, waiting. His stomach tightened. Why is she here? He hadn't invited her. He hadn't approved this. For the first time that night, Julian felt something unfamiliar. Uncertainty. The host stepped onto the stage. Ladies and gentlemen, she began, smiling warmly. Tonight, we gather to celebrate impact. Julian straightened. This is it. She is someone whose generosity has reshaped lives across this city. Julian's mind raced. That's me. Someone who believed in this foundation long before it became fashionable. His fingers tightened around his glass. That's still me. She has given quietly, consistently, without demanding recognition. Julian frowned. That didn't sound like him. The room grew still. Please rise and welcome our honored guest of the evening. A pause. A long one. Julian's breath caught. Naomi Whitmore. For a split second, the room didn't react. Then disbelief broke open. Gasps. Whispers. Then applause, loud, uncontrollable, undeniable. Julian's glass slipped from his hand and shattered against the marble floor. Evelyn froze. Cameras swung, not toward Julian, but toward Naomi. Naomi stood. Every step she took toward the stage felt earned, measured, final. Julian couldn't move. This can't be happening. He had removed her name from programs, redirected credit, rewritten history. But Naomi had been building something he couldn't control. Truth. If you're feeling this moment, if you believe quiet strength always finds its voice, pause for just a second. Hit the like button. Subscribe to Melanin Chronicles. Because stories like this don't survive without support. Now back to the reckoning. Naomi reached the podium. She didn't rush. She didn't smile for approval. She spoke. For years, Naomi said calmly, I believe dignity doesn't require permission. The room leaned forward. This foundation was never about my name. It was about access, opportunity, making sure brilliance doesn't go unnoticed simply because it doesn't fit expectations. Julian felt something tighten in his chest. Fear. Her eyes lifted briefly toward him. Legacy, Naomi continued, is not what you display. It's what remains when the display is gone. Applause thundered. Evelyn stepped back, suddenly invisible. Julian stood alone. The rest of the night unfolded differently than Julian had imagined. Donors surrounded Naomi. Trustees asked questions. Journalists took notes. Julian watched his influence evaporate, not loudly, not dramatically, but efficiently. A senior trustee approached Naomi. We'd like to formalize your role, he said, publicly. Naomi smiled. I was waiting. Julian overheard. His empire hadn't fallen, but control had slipped from his hands. As the gala ended, Naomi exited through a quiet hall. Julian followed. You blindsided me, he said, voice low. Naomi turned. No, she replied evenly. I stopped protecting you from the truth. This isn't over, Julian warned. Naomi met his gaze. I know, because she had already prepared for what came next. Outside, Naomi's phone buzzed. A message appeared. The board vote is scheduled. He has no idea. Naomi exhaled, steady, calm. The real reckoning wouldn't happen under chandeliers. It would happen where power actually lived. Power doesn't always announce itself. Sometimes it waits. Sometimes it builds quietly. And sometimes it rises when those who underestimated it least expect it. If you believe stories like this matter, subscribe to Melanin Chronicles. Like this video. And tell us in the comments, where are you watching from? Because the most dangerous power in the room, it is the one everyone forgot to look at.